You've already talked about some of the lessons that China is taking from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but what lessons are we learning from it? And with all the attention on the war, what are the dangers of taking our eyes off the Pacific to refocus on Europe?
Huge danger. In fact, I think we are doing that. I mean, I wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal with my friend, colleague, Oriana Mastro in February saying we can't let Ukraine become a distraction from Taiwan. And I got a lot of flack for it. But I think it's happening. I mean, the administration has more than doubled the force presence in Europe to over 100,000. It doesn't appear to be going down. And have also not been putting a lot of pressure on the Europeans, especially, for instance, the Germans, to meet their defense commitments. So I'm very worried. And this is factual. I mean, we don't have a military that's sized and shaped to fight two major wars on even roughly concurrent timelines. We're a global power, but we're not increasing the defense budget. We're not making really hard trades within the defense program. Meantime, China's increasing its defense spending 7 to 10% every year. And they're beyond stealing our IP at this point. They've already probably stolen most of the IP they're going to get from us. Now they're developing indigenous technology. I mean, they got some of those hypersonic breakthroughs before we did. Look, China is 10 times the size of the Russian economy. Asia is more important than Europe. And the rest, the EU states, vastly dwarf Russia in latent military power. It's just a question of will. They have huge economic scale. What should we learn from the situation? I think the most important thing is that major war is possible. I think there were a lot of people out there, including in the military, actually, including senior general officers, for instance, who didn't think a major war with Russia or China is possible. Now, we are not in direct conflict, but it's pretty darn close. Secondly, I think what Bill Burns said is correct, which is Putin was actually, I think, correct in his assessment. I mean, it was wrong morally, but he was analytically correct that he needed to use military force to get Ukraine to do the things that he wanted to do, that Ukraine was not going to come over to Russia's side through the gray zone voodoo or whatever. Now, he's going to have to go in the old-fashioned way, but it's just as relevant as it ever was. What he was wrong about is his ability to pull it off, apparently. Now, the Russians are obviously making progress. We'll see how this all pans out. But I mean, his assessment of the military balance was wrong.